Yeah, Cash Gang.
Hey, what you know good? I'm Darius Cache,
And I'm ToriLive.
and this is the Bernard Song Podcast, where pain has a voice and healing finds rhythm. To my left, we got Christian Acock, technical producer and moderator for the Bernard Song Podcast. And in the BIL Ding, we have Joe Warfield. Say what's up, bro.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah. So, hey, man, Joe got a whole list of credentials, So we gonna get started with this one right here. Got it, NBA and a whole lot of different letters. The only thing he ain't in is the NBA and the NFL, the NHL, and all these other leagues. Bruh, tell us about it. How long you was in school? How long did it take you to accomplish all these degrees? What were your majors?
Man. All right, so I'm a comm major. I was a communication major because I wanted to work in media and film, television. So I attended George Mason University outside of Washington, D.C. in Fairfax County, Virginia. What up to Fairfax?
Shout out DC.
Yeah, shout out D.C. I was originally supposed to be at Howard University, but Howard lost my stuff. That's right, I said it. Howard lost my application packet.
Oh, man.
I was devastated. I was devastated. So I ended up at I ended up at a community college first, and at Northern Virginia Community College. Shout out to them. Then I transferred over to George Mason. And after George Mason, I was working in television, working in BET, TV One. I was working for Retirement Living Television. Then I got into studio management, which I absolutely loved. And
Bro, you ain't responsible for 106 and Park and Rap City coming out the edge.
no.
All right, cool.
No.
All right, we'll get through this peacefully.
No, that was a decision I think Deborah Lee made. So, and then next thing you know, I moved. I was relocated to Louisville, Kentucky for a while because I have family in Kentucky. I have people in Kentucky, and so I was there. It was almost like God said, "I'm going to move you out of D.C." And I was like, "Wait, no, this is home now. This is where I'm East Coast. I'm going back and forth to New York. I'm doing things." So then I lived in Louisville, Kentucky for a while. I worked. I made it. It wasn't D.C., so I had to make it what I wanted it to be. So then I got into this school called Spalding University. I kept hearing about this program for Masters of Science in Business Communication, Organizational Leadership. And I was like, well, that sounds appealing. And it must have been divine intervention because I got in. And I'm going to tell you, I wasn't the greatest student in undergrad. I wasn't. I mean, I was just wanting to get the paper and get on. So I got in, flourished in the program. And then this past fall, I talked to a friend of mine that I went to grad school with the first time. She said, you should get an MBA. And I was like, what? Nobody going back to school. Nobody got time for all that. So then she was like, no, you only need 2 classes because you already have an MS. So I was like, let me think about it and pray about it. And, did the whole consensus thing. I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And I just got conferred on between Friday and Saturday. So that's where the MBA came in. I took 2 classes. I had to take storytelling using data and project management.
Okay.
So that was an easy 4.0 for me. So I was happy. So that's how I got all these letters.
Wow.
It sounds impressive, but yeah.
It is impressive. So, okay, let's go a little deeper.
Okay.
See, we were talking before, before we got on air,
Yeah.
and we know that you have a deep root in the church and in choir and stuff like that. But what took you this route? What motivated and encouraged you to say communications? This is what I want to do.
It started in I think elementary school, being in some plays, and then by the time I got to middle school, to the second middle school, because the first middle school they pulled me out of because it was just horrible.
And where you from?
And so I was living in Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a military brat, though. I was split between two families, actually. Yeah, my uncle and my aunt, who were like my second parents, and then my mother and my stepdad that were raising me. So they kind of like split me. They were like, you take them this time, you take them this time. I wasn't a bad child, but, you know, both sides wanted to raise me. So in middle school, my first, like, I guess you could say, chop at being a producer was we were having a talent show, and this teacher was trying to put it together, but I just had a feeling she didn't know what she was doing. So I was like, you don't know what you're doing. So I asked, I said, hey, excuse me, can I take over the talent show? She's like, well, yeah, of course you can. And so we auditioned people. I wrote everybody's introduction card out. I did this. I talked with the lighting. We did all that together. I sold tickets. We sold it out. And I was like, I like this. So by the time I got to high school, I did some more stuff, plays, you know, doing different things. But I realized I like it more behind the scenes than I did being out front, because like I was saying, I was extremely shy. Yeah. And so I was in chorus and all that, and I was afraid. Don't ask me to sing nothing like in front of people. My voice would jump, and although
we're gonna make you sing on this episode.
I'm over it now. I've done plenty.
It's too late for stage fright.
Right, too late. Yeah, it's got to go on. And although, like I was saying, my mom was a minister of music, and she became a pastor. And I think I wanted to be more like her. Like, she was so. My mother never worked for anybody. She couldn't work for anybody. I don't know. It was you know, she. I don't know what y'all think about birth signs, but she was an Aries. Okay. Aries, you can't tell Aries what to do. You just can't. You can't tell them.
Christian, you on Leo? You made the Leo cut, didn't you? You a Leo?
No, I'm a Virgo.
You missed.
Virgo.
Well, I was about to say you're in a room full of Leos, but he missed the cut.
Leos too. Leos and Aries, they have to have their own thing going on. You just gotta let them do them. And so I saw my mom was never really apologetic about anything that she did. Yeah. So I was like, okay, mom can do it. I can do it too. So I just had to find my own like niche, my own way, my own path, and she supported me in that. So then by the time I got to college, I was in DC, I was in the city, and I knew competition was tough for things. So I had to be creative. I had to figure out how I was going to get this internship, how I was going to get that. The first internship I ever had was under one of the Rockefellers, Sharon Rockefeller. I had never met a Rockefeller before. And to me, they were big, tall, broad-shouldered people, you know. And I was like, how do I get this internship? I said, I know what I'll do. I'll volunteer. I'm the only black dude in the office. I'm in the communication office with a bunch of white women who I have nothing in common with, and I'm the only black person there, and the only male. Black male, it just
sound like a DEI issue.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, there was a section, the Black History section, where like these other black folks were working, but those were like the elite, because all the black people over there had graduated from Harvard and all that, and they were putting together these documentaries and doing all that. I wasn't nowhere near that. I was just like, I'm in the communication department with all these white women. And so I had to learn how to like navigate that caveat. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna have to do what I gotta do. And then the second internship, I had to actually call and ask for a job, but she said, I'll give you an internship. I said, cool. So I just kept beating out people by being creative, you know, getting my foot in Washington, D.C., because I didn't have any connections. I wasn't going to Howard, you know, because to me, it felt like Howard students got everything. They got all the jobs at BET at that time, because BET was stationed in Howard, in D.C. So, like, when I worked at Howard, the two producers that I reported to, at first, all three of them actually were Howard grads.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was stacked deck.
Yeah. They ran the whole, like, gamut, except for Bob Johnson was the owner, I think, who was a Princeton grad. So that was just weird. You got this Princeton grad and all these Howard grads, and so that's how I did it. You know, I just always had a passion for all things entertainment, Hollywood. And actually, my goal was after high school was to, like, get on a Greyhound, because I was real dramatic in my head. You know, okay, birth signs, again, I'm a Pisces. So, you know, we got our own stories in our head. I was going to get on the Greyhound and travel across country like they do in the movies.
5-0 goes west. You going to Hollywood on the you headed to Tinseltown.
Yeah, right. And I said, you know what I said? I said I'll stop in little towns along the way and learn some lessons on life and keep going.
Hey man, look, real deal. That's really what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
What else in life is there to do when you come from Louisville? Is a pretty small town, right? It's not a small town.
It's a metropolitan city, but it's small.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like a hub like Atlanta, New York, or even like Houston, Texas. You know, it's not a much larger city.
Like
where
you can literally go from one end of Broadway to the West End, which it calls the it was known as the Black side of town. Then you go downtown. If you travel all the way through Broadway, then you go all the way out to another side of town. It's literally like that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You said the West End, and that's the Black side of town.
That was considered the Black side of town.
Why is every West End the Black side of town?
That's like everybody having an MLK. Every MLK is in the hood. Yeah. That's right. I don't know why.
Wow, that's crazy.
But that's really what you're supposed to do. You jump out the porch and you go as far as you can to follow your dreams, and you never know where you're gonna land.
Right.
And that's the perks of life. That's what we supposed to do when we're young. And how old were you at this time? Maybe like 18,
I was like
20
18,
something?
19.
Yeah,
and
that's
my
what you're
mom
supposed to do with
said,
them years.
No. She said, that's not what you're doing. Well, okay, I could have done it, but it came with a stipulation. I would have had to live with her former pastor.
See, and those are your options. Like not all together, not all together envious.
She said you can go, but you're going to have to live with Pastor Smothers and the family. I was like, no,
you're going to be smothered.
And I was going to be smothered. I wasn't going to be able to do anything. So
your life is going to become very monotonous.
Right. So she said, you're going to get on the plane and you're going to go to Washington, D.C. with your other parents, and that's where you can go to college. And I will tell you, like, I had some amazing experiences there. Like, I know what it's like I worked on a show called The Capitol Fourth, and all your politicians are always there. I remember I met Colin Powell, because we were the only two black people.
You and Colin Powell? I think you might have been the only black person.
Let me tell you though, when there's only two of you all, you gonna
Shout
make your way.
I
know he was conservative and all, but he made his way over to me. It was so funny because we were in the rotunda after PBS. After they do the Capitol Fourth, they always had a reception. They still do in the rotunda, in the Capitol Rotunda, for like the high-end donors and the people and the politicians. So we're the only two black people, for whatever reason, in this whole thing, in this section. So on his way down, I hear him saying, people's like, are you ever going to run for president? No, I'm not running for president. And I'm just looking. And he's looking at me. I was like, oh, he's coming this way. He's like, Mayday, Mayday. So
was it? Okay, Colin, that wasn't Bush vice president, was it?
He was the like the big guy. He was over all the Army, Navy, Air Force. He was like the general over all forces. What do they call that title? I can't think of the title. But he's over all the branches. Is
that basically what Pete Hegseth doing? Is he in that position?
I think so. Yeah, okay. He's over all the branches, and but let me tell you, so I lived in D.C. for a very long time, on the outskirts of D.C., working in the city, going back and forth to New York before I lived in New York. And, I'm a totally different person. Mm-hmm. So I'm not the person that my parents remember. I've gotten more exposure. I've learned some things. I've been some places. And so then one day it was like God said, so in 2008, everything started going south. Like housing went crazy. What else happened? A whole bunch of stuff happened. People lost jobs.
Mm-hmm. Obama had just came in. They were trying to blame it on him. Like, bro, I just got here.
No, because Bush, sorry if anybody listening, but Bush had literally ran the economy into the ground. So much so that America lost its A1 accreditation. We had America had bad credit. So God said, I need you to go back to Louisville, Kentucky. I was like, what? Why would you want to do that to me? I said, I'm not doing that. So I'm driving around in my Jeep Grand Cherokee. I'm like, nah, this is my city. I love a city. When I tell you that thing looked like a fish bowl, I felt like I was being closed in. I was forced out. Mm-hmm. And so, and I normally don't share this, but I would tell you, it was a vulnerable moment because my mom was happy that I was back. I sat on her couch and I cried. I was like, I just feel like such a failure. All the things that I've accomplished, I've done, and none of that's working for me now. Like there were no other options for me. It's like all the doors closed. And so then I stayed in Louisville for a few years, got my MS, and then I moved to New York. And then things like began to open back up for me. I think that was a lesson. I needed to go home at that time because I needed to reconnect with my family. And then my mom was ill, you know. I know I was joking about that, but my mom had diabetes, and so we had to make sure she was doing the right thing. She ended up in a nursing facility, and she passed away in 2021 when I was living in New York. No, I was living here by then. I was out of New York. But I guess I need to go home and reconnect and recalibrate, rethink some things out. So that I know you asked me, but that's how I ended up with like all those degrees. And it was prophesied to me like when I was 18. This lady said, "What are you gonna do after high school?" I said, "I don't know, I'll probably go to college." And in my mind, I'm thinking, California, here I come. And she said, "Well, I see you with several degrees." I was like, "Y'all be lucky if y'all get one for real, because I know I'm not the greatest student." And I was like, "Y'all be lucky if y'all get this one." And I ended up with like, I guess what, 4. So that's how that happened, man. That's how that happened.
Well, congratulations, because I ain't got now. The only letters I got is my initials.
Man, you know, let me tell you, man. I you know, man, let me tell you, I had some challenges, man. I really did. They didn't know what was going to happen to me. They just didn't know what was. When I'm
sorry, I didn't want to laugh that hard.
Well, it's not too bad because what you got going at Trilly at the studio out there?
Well, I'm part of the Writers Guild out there.
Okay.
Yeah. So and me
and like SAG after, or they got something.
The Writers Guild is comprised of different writers. There are authors. There are people who are writing screenplays. There's some poets in there. We've like brought all these people together, and we meet at ToriLive Studios. We meet, at this bookstore called Scholar and Scribe. But we meet over there, and and people are doing some amazing things in Atlanta. One of the reasons why I love living here is because it provides a space for creatives.
Yeah,
I love DC. I was there for Christmas.
Everywhere you go, it's a creative hub.
Yeah,
they got the.
I was in DC for Christmas, and let me tell you, I mean, people were like, "Are you ever gonna move back here?" I'm like, "No." They were like, "Why not?" They said, "Why you live in Atlanta?" I said, "Because Atlanta feels great to me. It's home." I said, "And there's a space for me there." DC is basically government, corporate, law, and nonprofit. If you're in any of those things, you're doing good. But anything that is creative, they really have a hard time with that because you're taught, you go to school, you graduate, you get a job in one of these areas. And the more degrees you have, the more accomplished you are. Well, what happens if you have all of that and you're a creative person and you don't want to do any of that?
Right.
My godfather was like, "You should just stay here and get a job in government." For what?
I
would not be happy.
That's real.
Yeah, I wouldn't be happy. But here, I've written a children's book. It got published. I'm working on the second one. I did a podcast during the COVID era. And, of course, like I told you, I'll have another one coming out that's going to be visual that you will be coming on, by the way. Y'all will be
just
coming
send me
on.
the invite. You know what I'm saying?
So but that's how it happened.
You might have to buy me some Chick-fil-A, but
that's fine. We got you. But it's
little reciprocation, there,
right? No, I got you. I'm gonna feed you because you fed me, so I gotta feed you. So, do you like chitterlings? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my Lord!
Hey man, I'll take the other side of the pig. Give me.
So wrong, man. You don't want no booty noodles?
Did you say what is that? You don't know what
crazy.
chitterlings is? Chitlins.
Somebody had
chitlins,
like
yeah.
a chitlin boil.
But,
going. I was like,
that's everything you hear. That's all your intestines, your enzymes, and your poop shoots and all that. Like, yeah.
a
You know
minute.
how they say the rooter to the tutor?
What's
That's
she-
like right in between. That's the mid section.
Yeah.
of the
Trying
root-
to
from the rooter to the
explain
tutor, that's the
what
mid
chitlins
section.
are
He know what it is. But he
Christian don't
knows
know
them
what
as
chitlins
chitlins. He knows he
Chitterlings.
But if you go in the grocery store and you read the package, it's going to say
Chitterlings.
Chitterlings.
exactly. Yeah.
AKA booty noodles.
It's just pronounced chitlins.
But let me tell you seriously, man. I just want to ask this. Yeah, they didn't know what I didn't know what was going to become of me. I had so many challenges, you all, so many that I don't even talk about, because I never want people to feel sorry for me. I thank God that I'm still here, but I got hit by a car twice. One at
Here?
4. No. When I was
I know we
4 years
can't
old.
drive. They say we can't drive,
No,
but why?
like when I was 4, I got hit by a drunk driver.
Wow.
Okay.
I was- yeah, and 4 years old.
That's- wow.
Yo, I got hit by a 72 Cadillac in the stomach.
72.
Oh.
72 Cadillac by
Long
the
body?
neighborhood drunk.
Long body?
Yeah, with them long body joints, the chrome on it, like you see in those old Shaft movies.
Oh, wait.
I mean, he ran me over like a choo-choo train. I ain't gonna even lie. He was like, boom, and I just, me, I try to have some dignity at the age of 4. So I got up out of the street. I couldn't stand. I
Tried
tried
to walk
stand
it
up.
off.
I tried to walk it off. I stood up, tried to stand. I said, oh, can't stand up straight. I went over and laid in the neighbor's yard and closed my eyes. And then I woke up. The ambulance said, I closed me and woke me. I was in the hospital. That happened right before my 5th birthday. And then that summer, I was in bed that entire summer for my, I was in bed and because I had to reset, readjust, lost the spleen. It was a whole mess.
Wow.
So they were just like, this kid survived that.
Did they
That's
get the tag on that?
amazing. He said it was a neighborhood drunk. They knew who
They
this
know
was.
who he
yeah,
was.
yeah.
They
Oh,
got him.
wow.
They got him. And
That's a lot to go through at 4.
4. And then
And what's the second time? How old are you?
8.
God.
It came in even numbers. The second time is 8. I was walking home with my friends from school, and this car jumped up on the sidewalk. It was a man and a woman. And now that I'm older, I have a pretty good idea what was happening in that car because he jumped up on the sidewalk, and everybody took off running. I took off running. The car was following me. I was like, yo, what's going on? And the car hit me, ran me over. And
Whoa.
I survived that one too. And I mean, just because I've always been this, at some point I became like a recluse, shut off, kind of like a, what you call it? Like I was an introvert.
Introvert. Yeah.
And I don't know if I programmed myself like that because people kept letting me down. I was like, dang, everybody, you can't be nice. If you're nice, they want to fight you.
Okay.
If you're walking down the street by yourself breathing, they want to fight you. Somebody see you, growing up as a young black boy, and sometimes people see they think you have more than they do or whatever. And then because you smile, and I got big teeth, so I was always smiling, laughing, having a good time. And I got like jumped a couple of times, a whole bunch of stuff happened. So I told my mom one day, I said, I don't think it's meant for me to be here. I was like 12 years old. She was like, why would you say? I said, well, because things keep happening. I got hit at 4, at 8. It was just, not to go too dark and too deep, but God is really a miracle worker because some of the stuff that I've been through, I was like, dang, I should be on drugs. I should be doing some crazy stuff. But I don't know. I was never able to go that route. Wow. So, yeah. So I'm thinking, I praise God for, all the letters, but I'm more so concerned about, building great relationships with people, because at the end of the day, if you die, nobody's going to say what type of, bring me my diplomas. You're going to want people there.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah. So.
And so you say the kids book, you working on the second one, you say?
Yes, the
What?
first one is called Wise as an Owl, Stubborn as a Mule, Sly as a Fox, Memory Like an Elephant. It's on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Scholar and Scribe bookstore. It's at several different bookstores. You can get it online. And that came about because I was just going to do a plush toy line at first. And then the consultant through the Urban League said, why don't you write a children's book?
Here?
Yeah. Urban League Atlanta is great.
Yeah. Well, Mark Palm or somebody like that?
Yes, you know Mark?
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah,
man. Hey,
man,
man, I get
yeah.
around, Jack.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Mark Farm, is awesome. Is an awesome brother. He's an awesome brother. So, they were like, "Why don't you write a children's book?" I was like, "What?" So I was like, "Okay, I never wrote no children's book before," but I started writing it out. I went on Upwork, interviewed and hired me an illustrator who I still work with today.
Okay.
And did the whole illustration thing, did the manuscript. I went on Microsoft Word and did the manuscript format. They have that on there now, so you don't have to figure that out.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I was like, oh, I can do it like this. And we put, I had to think back in the mind of a producer. When you're putting something together, what do? Okay, so you have a storyboard. So the first thing we did I did a scene description, then we created a black and white storyboard, and then I went from there with the story. That worked for me, that writing process.
Okay.
I'm I don't know, no Alice Walker, Stephen King. I sit down, and then they ran across the meadows, and I can't do all that. I mean, I probably could, but that's not me. So that's how the book came about.
But the illustrator was it somebody overseas or?
He's actually he's from Brooklyn.
Okay.
But his wife is in Brazil, so he's in Brazil.
Okay.
He went over there. I guess I don't know if Tony called himself escaping the the pandemic, because a lot of people went different ways when the pandemic happened. Well, he got over there and he was part of the pandemic. Of course, reached there, of course, and he's just been there with his wife. But I know he's coming back this way. But they had to figure out something because she's allergic to the shots, so they had to figure something else out. But I interviewed over like 40 or 50 different illustrators, and he was the one whose work just like popped out and said, "Okay, this is what I'm looking for."
So he was able to bring your manuscript to life, like to give it visual.
He sure did.
Okay.
Brought it to life, and I think what happened. My background definitely helped me, and storyboarding helped me because like I said, I wrote down the scene descriptions, and then from that we built the storyboard, and then I was able to create the story around the storyboard. And so when I submitted it over to the publisher, already had illustrations done, already had that done. So they were like, okay, and then they liked it. And
so you're not self-published?
No, I'm through a publishing company called Fulton Books.
Mm-hmm. How do they treat you?
They treat me good. They treat me good. I still had to pay, because it's considered a form of self-publishing. But I was like, I just didn't want to go. I mean, I thought that would be the best route for me. I was like, okay, I'll pay. I'll have this done. And it's distributed everywhere. I did interviews for it. It had press release for it.
So they handled marketing?
Hard in marketing, PR work, set you up for the interviews and all of that. So that worked for me.
So it's a good house.
It's a good house.
Okay.
It is. It's a good house. So
and are they based here or
they're in Pennsylvania?
So is it an online connection?
Yeah, I went online. It's funny when you start thinking about stuff. I guess the mind can really like manifest some stuff because I was like, what do I want to how am I going to do this? And then you start seeing all these ads for like publishers, and so I reached out.
The algorithm is a wonderful thing too.
It is. So I reached out, and they were like, "Yeah, we like it, and we want to publish you." I was like, "Okay, great." And I signed the contract, paid whatever I needed to pay, and the process that they take you through, like, okay, it was a 6-week process, as from beginning to end, and I submitted everything over to them. They give you a rep, you work with your rep, and then till the end, when it's out, they send you a couple of copies of your book, and then it gets out there, and it's a whole thing.
So I'm sorry. So it was a 6-week process from start to finish up until like it was physically available. Wow.
So whatever money you pay, the return on investment has been.
It's good. Yeah. You can, and I set my stuff up through Build.com, or they'll just send you they can direct deposit your money. They send you a check. They send you your form, your tax form, and all of that. And so then for me, it's like, what else can I do? I constantly want to keep doing things, challenging myself to do things, create things. And like I said, being in Atlanta, it's funny. A friend of mine, she reminded me. She's like, "Well, New York was never going to be your long-term home. You always want to move to Atlanta because you talked about it, and Atlanta just provides that space for me. It does."
And what was the time frame of the publisher's review process?
Man, it wasn't even like a week, honestly. Really, seriously, it really wasn't even like a week.
But was it maybe because it was a children's book? Maybe because it was shorter, they were able to.
Maybe because it was a children's book. That possibly could have had something to do with it. And I already had illustrations, so they had the visuals and everything that they needed. So
you came to them with a product.
I came to them with a product. You know, it's kind of like, people could say what they want about Tyler Perry, but when he presented, was it the Pains? Was it the
first one? The House of Pain.
The House of Pains. He went to TNT with full episodes. He had already, which gave him a better deal because it's not going to cost them anything. He spent all the money. They just got to air it, get the advertisements, and he gets the kickback, gets all the residual. They make money, he makes money.
Right.
And so it's something about being a creative where you have to, as Steve Harvey said, jump off the cliff. You're a cliff jumper. You're a cliff jumper. He's a cliff jumper. Is he all right over there?
This cliff jumper, he be working around the clock. Ebenezer be running them ragged. He taking these college courses.
I know, man.
He work at Publix.
We know.
He unfortunately he didn't pack his cape today.
Oh my goodness.
I think his cape is in the dry cleaners.
Yeah, man. Let me tell you. You're right. Drying up.
He got a C on his chest.
Right. You put a bounty towel in there with it.
I'm just glad he doesn't wear his underwear on the outside.
Oh my God. I'm like, go in the bathroom. Take them things. No Fruit Balloons. Go in there.
Don't test me.
Yeah.
Don't test me. It's crazy.
I'm like, is he all right?
So he's revived. He's still with us. But my question to you is like, so for somebody who is looking to walk down that path, if you could let's go back to your younger self. If you could go back in time and tell the 12-year-old version of yourself who wasn't sure if he was supposed to be here, wasn't sure what the path in life was going to be, or even yourself right after high school, like what would you tell your younger self?
Ooh.
Knowing what you know now.
Give tomorrow a chance.
Oh, yeah.
Give it a chance that it's not going to always be like it is. And that, other people's perception of you is just their perception. It's really none of your business what they think about you. It really isn't.
That's real.
People are always going to have something to say about you, about some, Darius think he's all that because they're doing that podcast. People say, y'all right together. It's real easy. It's so funny you said it because it's like, I would definitely tell myself it gets better because it wasn't even my family. It was just like some people, as kids, you trust, and then you're like, oh man, that's not my friend. So when I realized I started having problems, like, not that I was a victim, like, woe is me, but I just found it better to be by myself at that young age. And so I would definitely tell my younger self that there are better people out there. And then I would tell my younger self, forgive those people because they're just trying to make it day by day. And they don't have anywhere else really any way to express their frustrations with their own lives. Me and a childhood friend had talked about this like 2 months ago, that we didn't realize one of our best friends was a narcissist because we didn't know what a narcissist was. We just knew that he was always like trying to run stuff, and then when you didn't do what he wanted to do, he got really angry, like just abnormally angry. And but I would definitely tell my younger self, give tomorrow a chance. It gets better. You're going to do some cool things. You're going to be some amazing people. And just thank God for the journey is what I would have said too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And for the creatives out there, right? People who are in their just stepping into their creative pool, what is your best advice for those people?
Like I said earlier, jump off. Don't be afraid to jump off a cliff. Don't be afraid. Yeah, you know.
Take your parachute. Take your parachute.
Take
It's them doing it in unison for me. But anyway.
No, definitely jump off the cliff, man. It's okay to be creative. It's okay to want to be something. It's okay to have a dream. It's okay to want to act, sing, dance, write. You don't need anybody's permission to succeed. And your journey is not going to look like somebody else's journey. And you have to be okay with your gifts.
Yeah.
And if nobody else nourishes your gifts, you have to do it. You have to do it. It's because I could sit back and walk a magic red carpet in my head all day. But you got to get on the journey. You got to do it. It's not going to look like a Beyonce. It's not going to look like a Bruno Mars. It's not going to look like a Jonathan McReynolds or whoever that you're trying to be like. And if anybody that wants to be a minister, it's not going to look like a Dr. Cosby. It's not going to look like a T.D. Jakes. Your journey is going to be your own journey, and the people that you're going to affect and that you're going to touch, they're going to be totally different from how those people influenced others. True. So never compare yourself to anybody, and that was one of my things I struggled with for a long time. It almost cost me one of my best friendships because when I was in D.C. and the first time, it was long before I got the job that I had gotten, and my friends were everybody in their 20s and 30s making six figures already. I felt some kind of way. I was like, "Now wait a minute,"
Yeah.
I don't know why I was still blessed. I still had a spot to lay my head, and I didn't have the maturity, the spiritual maturity enough to realize that, their journey is their journey, my journey is my journey. And I admitted that and apologized to one of my best friends, Dana Burgess. I told him, Dana, I'm sorry. I almost ruined our friendship because I'm mad because of what you got going on. So,
that's real.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to come to that level of maturity to not just think like, okay, man, I shouldn't look at that like that, but to actually go to the person and say, you know what, I really messed up. I value our friendship. I value the relationship we have enough to say, I'm sorry. I was in the wrong. That's really big.
Yeah, it was, and that was stemmed from not really, for one thing, being a kid, spending way too much time by myself, because I got to the point where I didn't want to talk to nobody. I'll tell you what I was doing. I was sitting at my desk in my room. I had my comic books, I had books, and I had my pet frog. I did. I had a pet frog and two pet ducks too. But I had a pet frog.
Ducks. How you catch a
These
duck?
are-
A duckling. You had ducklings.
Okay. No, they were
These
ducks.
these
Herman
are
and Gertrude were their names.
What? Gert?
Herman
All
and
right.
Gertrude.
We're not gonna judge.
And Herman would fly. They would fly around the neighborhood, and I'll be going to school. But they would say, "Hey, at this house, my ducks. They're going."
But why did they have grandparent names? Herbert and Gertrude.
Herman and Gertrude.
Herman
I don't
and
know.
Gertrude.
They just did. And
What was
Herman
the frog's name? I'm really invested
what was
now.
my frog's name? I can't believe. I think I just called him Frog, but he was
That's
sitting on
crazy.
his rock.
I
He
would
was just
feel
sitting on
so.
his rock and his big thing, and I would sit there and talk to him.
I
like,
would have ran away because you didn't even give me a name. I don't even feel valued here.
I think I called him Frog.
You could have found an old man name for him, and then it could have been like a nursing
But he
home.
would listen. I was sitting there talking, and he would listen to me.
He would
It's like,
listen.
Frog, man, can you believe
You
this?
know what
I
that
was reading
reminds
to
me
him.
of?
What's that?
That reminds me of Michael Jackson when he did Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the two.
The two of us
sleeping no more. That little mouse.
So, does Joe have a love life?
Joe is single, but Joe is dating. I do have a love life. I do have a love life. I ain't out there whoring and nothing like that. That's so easy to
What
do
he
in
said.
Atlanta.
It is so easy to do.
It's so easy
It's
to
a lot
do
of trouble to
in
get into
Atlanta.
around the
It
way.
is
It's
so
a lot of
easy,
trouble.
but
trouble.
avoid at
Yeah.
all costs. It's
Yeah,
ghetto
a
outside.
bunch of trouble. Now let me say, I ain't always done things right because there's a lot of women here. whole lot of women here. And then, but you gotta be careful because you gotta make sure, you gotta thump the throat. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
Hey man, better safe than sorry.
I'm gonna tell you, like, be sitting there. If you thump it and they cough, that's.
What does that mean?
We need to tell you.
We'll explain later.
You see, you got a bulge in your throat, right? It's
Adam's apple?
yes, that's your identifier.
Oh.
So you gotta
Yes.
thump it.
Oh, Christian.
I'm just playing everybody. Don't listen to me.
No,
Anyway.
listen to him. Don't listen to him. That is good game. That is good game. We trying to put Christian on right now, so he don't have
We're
no.
not
he
gonna
don't have
walk
no
up and
slip-ups.
thump anybody because that's assault. But anyway.
If you're thumbing and she cough, you gotta she be like, "Why did you do? I mean, why did you do that?"
Assault. But
You know what? It's so funny. Like I've been engaged. I stopped running away from a relationship. Like if I get in a relationship now, it's gonna have to be forever because when it's good. I used to know how to really sabotage and mess up some stuff.
oh man.
I did. I knew how to sabotage and mess up some stuff. I knew how to point out the imperfections and be like, this ain't working for me.
I think
But-
that's just our way of trying to protect ourselves.
Protect ourselves.
And you
but
were like
that's-
extremely introverted, so your core wants to go back to the frog. And
Yeah, I'm like, you mean I gotta share my space? You think I gotta
not the space.
It's not the space.
Anything
But
but
let me
that.
tell you, but where it starts is, vulnerable moment here is so if you have let's be real. This is a Christian show, right?
Man, this is a show.
This is a show. Okay.
Say it.
So let's be real.
We already established you're not whoring.
Right. Do not be a whore. Okay? Do not be a whore. Whoring is not good. Do
That's
not
a
be
public
whore.
service
This is
announcement.
public
Don't be a
service
whore.
announcement. Do not whore yourself out for 20 seconds of executive love. No, I'm just about.
Okay.
No.
we might be, we believers, but we talk to real
but
people.
but-
We had real
what did I say to
conversations.
you before the show started? I say, about don't be so heavily bound. You're no earthly good.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, you don't. So I was that guy that I learned how to be that guy, and this is gonna sound terrible, but it was true. If you came over and spent the night and something popped off, that's good. I was like, you ain't gotta leave right away. I had to learn how to I taught myself how to share my space. Like, you want to hang out, want to watch a movie, want to do this one? And what I understand, what I've grown to know is girls like that. They're like, well, yeah, I'll stay. Now sometimes they start leaving shoes and they do this stuff. They start marking territory. Yeah, they do. They mark territory. They'll leave a sock. It doesn't matter what it is. It's gonna be something left, and it be little things. It's not like big things. They're not just gonna leave a whole outfit. It'll be something. It could be an earring,
A bracelet.
See, a headband. I left my headband at you. So if
Some
you invite
bobby
somebody else
pins.
over there, she gonna be like.
We do it
who's this?
specifically too. We put it in those little specific places because we're
Yes.
women and we know where another woman would look. So let you know.
Well, whose is this?
Mischievous, conniving.
Yeah, I'm telling you. So and actually this lady that I was hanging out with named Stephanie. Stephanie used to, if Stephanie ever sees us, Stephanie used to have me out until the sun came up.
Stephanie, he gonna share this episode with you when it's
literally-
time.
What
He
up,
gonna
Stephanie?
he gonna send you the link to this episode.
I mean, literally, the sun would be coming up. Said Stephanie, I told her one time the sun was coming. I said, Stephanie, I'm gonna stop fooling with you. She said, why? I said, look, the sun just, and like I said, we vampires. If I was a vampire, I'd have been ate up, boy. I'd have bust out in flames. Because we party, we have fun, we do this and that, and then next thing we going back to my house. But the sun's coming up. I'm like, Stephanie. Honestly, I was like, what the hell? The sun's coming up. And she was like, oh, it's sure. She thought that was
no hints. She
the
wasn't taking the hint.
funniest thing. I was like, I'm gonna stop messing with you. Every time I hang out with you, the sun is coming up. Literally, we had a ball. We had a ball. I know how to have a really good time. But what you got?
I got a question. You see me already fixing my mouth and my face, right?
Yes, yeah.
So why didn't you just start settling down with Stephanie? You seem like you really liked her. She seemed like she really liked you.
She was cool. Stephanie was cool.
Mm-hmm.
She was.
She better be. She finna get the link to this episode.
Yeah. Stephanie introduced me to a lot of things She did. She introduced me to a different way of thinking, of being. My ex, but the one that really, there's this one named Ursula. That's her name. I know.
Wow, I like that name.
Ursula.
I like that name.
Yeah, you got a lot of parental names there.
It's got my shoulders
Oh my
going.
gosh.
Ursula.
Ursula was the one who. I always say Ursula was the one who got away.
Oh.
I do.
Way to save it.
Ursula looked like a dark-skinned Pam Grier.
Okay.
Literally, like when we would hang out.
Young Pam Grier.
Young Pam. No, not
Grier.
not this one. Not
Sorry,
no,
Pam.
Not the
Sorry,
Don't
Pam.
do
Grier.
her.
Shout out to
Hey,
you for two
hey,
Pam.
Shout
Grier.
out to we love you, Pam, but no,
Hey.
not baby.
Age
Hannah.
catches up.
People
That's all.
age. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Still fun. Don't do that.
Yeah. Not the baby hand me my shoes, Pam Grier, but the one that no, but she looked like, and to the point, I didn't realize. I knew Ursula was beautiful, and we kind of like our chemistry was more sexual than anything. It's unfortunate to say. I say it's unfortunate because there should be more, but I didn't realize dudes would get jealous. Like at one of my friend's house, his family would always throw a pool party at the end of the summer. And I never forget this one guy, she was dancing in front of me. I'm sitting there chilling, had my little libation in my hand,
Oh, you was too cool.
I was, have two.
Chilling.
Yeah, I was buzzing is what it was. And so I'm just like having a good time at the party. This dude, he looks at her and he's like, hey, come here, which I thought was the most disrespectful thing. I was like, man,
Did he know she was with you?
Yeah, but he kept trying. He kept testing the waters.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, I'm so going to drop kick you in this pool in a minute. So I turned to this way to him. I said, yo, she's not coming. So somehow she ended up at the gazebo trying to get some food. He walks up there. I said, man, I just told this boop, 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 boop. So I went up there. I said, yo, man, why you keep trying to holler at my girl? He's like, well, you've been talking to her all night. I said, you wonderless wonder? It's my girl.
I wish somebody would.
I said, it's my girl. So why? Of course she's with me. So
I
You
got
been
some
talking
choice
to her all
words.
night. Bro, did you just hear me say that's my girl, bro?
I said, you wonderless wonder. just in purgatory of
Just
confusion. Yeah, what are you, how bad is your learning curve? This is my girl. She with me. And,
We go together. We go together.
If you kiss her, you're going to taste something. If you kiss her, you're going to taste something. And so, you need to tread light. You can't chase something.
Tread light.
You don't know what people doing in their bedrooms.
Yeah.
Don't be chasing stuff that you don't know nothing about. You better find out what's going on in there before you.
Which takes us all the way back to our PSA.
Yeah.
Whoring is
So
bad.
that kiss was kind of salty, was it though? Was it really salty? Was it salty?
Just the PG-13
But so-
episode.
You're right. So wait, let me tell you. So then he had this friend, and I ain't body shaming nobody, but he had this friend that was shaped like the number 0. Yeah, bro was round. He was round. You put a hole through him, you have a donut. So I was just like, I said, why is the letter O talking to me? Because he was like, he got to play. If you want to beat, you got to let it go. I said, shut your fat A up. Ain't nobody talking to me. I'm mad. She sees that I'm about to blow up, so she says, we're leaving. I said, why we got to leave? This is my friend's house, blah, blah, blah. She's like, nope, we're going to go. She said, because this is getting
Getting a little
ugly.
crazy.
It's getting a little crazy. So we leave it out. I'm holding her hand. Dude standing by the gate. He's still saying something. I said, that's all right, she leave with me. And I flipped him off and I just put my middle finger and kept walking. I was being real petty. I was. But she's the one I always felt like got away. Because honestly, when she wanted to really just be together and connect. But I think what stopped us was honestly the spiritual aspect of it. She wasn't really a Christian like that. She was more scientific. And that bothered me a lot. And I was just like, well, I can't really be with you. And I don't know, it was a whole lot, but I know not a lot, but quite a few girls that knew her, they were angry with me for being with her. Yeah, they were. I don't know why, but they were just. I don't understand when women don't. I don't know if it's a chemical thing that I don't know.
Maybe it was a jealousy thing. Maybe they liked
you.
And
Yeah, it was. And just some of the disrespectful remarks and stuff that happened at the time. But I always felt like she was the one that at that point that had gotten away. But now, if I get in a relationship, look, y'all, I'm gonna get married. I'm gonna get somewhere and sit down.
Yeah, that's what they say, man. Find somebody to spend your life with. Find somebody to get old with.
Yeah. Settle on a piece of land somewhere in God's country.
Heck yeah.
I don't know, but yeah. I did almost. I have an ex-fiance. She had a miscarriage, and
no kids.
No kids. So I would go to sleep and I would dream about this little boy, but then when I wake up, I felt like something was missing. It was like 10 seconds. Like I would my heart feel like a piece of my heart was missing. Then that's when I found out that there was a miscarriage. That was a miscarriage. And I was like, well, this kid kept showing up in my dreams. See, because women, I don't know if y'all know, men, we get things revealed to us too. We do. And I never forget the little boy was brown skinned. He was about my complexion. He had all this wild curly hair. And he was sitting on my lap, and we were in a park. And this tall clown reached down and gave him a balloon. And I woke up, and I was just like, I kept dreaming about this kid. And I was like, why do I feel sad? And then one day we talked about it, and then that's when I found out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I think, if I ever do become a father, I think I'll be a great father. Probably overprotective. I don't know. What about you? Y'all have kids? Anybody got kids?
One here. I think I'm the only one in the room with a youngster.
He said, don't ask me.
So real quick before we get to wrapping up, you mentioned that you had started a podcast during the pandemic. So, but you do have the Joe Warfield show, the podcast. So is that in the works or you?
Yes. I'm glad you asked me about that. It is in the work. We're in the pre-production stage. Pre-production basically means you getting everything together. The show outline, the script, all that stuff, lining up. The next step is lining up guest, setting up the shop, because there'll be T-shirts and stuff like that available. And I just look forward to really talking to people like yourself, you, and some other incredible people that I have in mind that I want to come on. To the show. The past season that I did, I was fortunate enough during the pandemic to talk to people like Richard Lawson, old Hollywood school, Beyonce stepdaddy or what he was, but him and Tina ain't together no more. But I was fortunate enough to interview people like that, because what I love about podcasts is it gives people an opportunity to tell their story and help somebody else.
Right.
It's that's what I love about podcasts. It gives you an opportunity to reach people that normally wouldn't be reached, or that wouldn't know your story. So yeah, it's called Joe Warfield, the Joe Warfield Show, a podcast, and I look forward to speaking to you and some other people. I even tried to get Dr. Warnock to come on one time, but they were like, no, he's busy. He can't do it. So I was like, okay. Oh, my God. He totally can't come to your little, what is this, the Joe Warfield Show? I said, who is this? I'm coming to D.C., but she did. I don't know who's switching. Oh my gosh, he's totally busy.
Maybe his assistant Esther. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what are you? She was flipping her what do you totally want with him? They put that hair in her hair. Oh my gosh, what do you
she ain't got no hair, so she was just rubbing her hair.
I was like, stop that! You're gonna cause a rash right there. Stop going over that one spot.
Y'all out of control.
Miss Esther, Warnock, we love y'all both, man. We understand. We understand, man. Scheduling conflicts. It's all good.
I wrote a nice little email. I was like, yeah, hello, I'm you. And she was like, oh my gosh.
You heard it in the ear. You can hear it in the ear.
Oh my totally gosh, he really is not available. Everything has a hook, like a question. He's really not available.
The inflection is crazy.
Available. Like you can totally try again. Totally. Can I really though? Totally.
Stop.
Hey. So check me out. Joe, is it anybody you want to shout out?
Let's see. Anybody want to shout out? I will shout out my second mom, my Aunt Gloria, who's also my mom. Rest in peace to my uncle, father, Reggie. And of course, my godfather, Francis Hinton, who told me I was at home. I was in D.C. for Christmas. Remember, I told you that. So, I've been at the house. My godfather totally used me, man. He told me, he said, yeah, I need you. I'm going to use your tail butt to change my life. And then on my last day, he said, okay, now you go ahead and get the hell out of my house. I was like, bro, you don't use me like
That's family for you.
I said, okay, I love you too, Dad. But my godfather, and of course, my brothers and my little cousin, who's also like my little sister, Elena Baltimore Saunders, and her husband, Ray. The Trilith Writers Guild, the people at Trilith. You got, my church, Ebenezer Baptist Church. I love you all. I do. I'll find something to do. I'll fold some napkins or do something. Y'all just be patient with me. Just be patient. That's a lot. It's a lot. So, yeah, that's who I would love to shout out, and thank you guys for having me here. This is fun.
No problem.
It's fun. You all
It's
are my
been a
first.
pleasure. Thank you for being your total and authentic self. This has been fun.
Y'all make me laugh.
And I want to give a shout out to Earl Stewart Jr. He's a watcher of our show. Really appreciate the support. And if you are watching this episode on YouTube, be sure to like if you enjoyed what you heard. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like and subscribe. I think it's a little bell. You might can get some notifications and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But as we go to cut out, thank you, everybody. Christian, thank you. Tori, thank you.
Hey, God, it's totally been fun.
Appreciate you, Joe.
It's total fun. All
right.
Thank you, man.
So, I'm Darius Cache.
And I'm ToriLive.
And this is the Bernard Song Podcast, where pain has a voice and healing finds rhythm.
Yeah, Cash Gang.